Okay, here we are. It's Thursday morning at 9 o'clock. Just turned 9:01. Marilyn gave me some advice last night. She said, if you're going to have this little broadcast, you need to have it at the same time every day. Well, I'm going to make every effort to make this a 9 o'clock everyday broadcast. Okay? How do you like that epidemic sound instrumental, royalty-free background music? I don't know about you, but that sounds so good. I think I have that turned just to the right volume, so it's like I have it right on that little slider right there. And that should be the perfect let's see. There we go. Okay, we'll try that. That looks pretty good. I'm like the sound guy, the video guy. I got screens going everywhere. 1 minute and 54 seconds here. So the big talk of the town is, Nikki Haley dropped out. So, in this world of analysis paralysis, every single word of her speech is analyzed to the nth degree. Every comma, did she move the comma here or there, and of course the staff writes the speech. She reads it, she makes some edits. A little sip of warm tea here. And, then it goes, then she gives the speech. And of course then it's transcribed. And people put the commas wherever they think they're appropriate. They actually hand out copies of the speech, I should say. But anyway, when this, people that aren't in that meeting room to actually get the speech, and of course someone should be pushing a button so that it's transmitted, so there's a transcript that's accurately delivered, so there's no... Since there's such analysis, you want to make sure every word is, exactly as she intended. Anyway, so, the way it normally goes, in my vast political experience, which I have no training in that. I'm a trained scientist, actually, with 30 years of finance and banking for some reason. The line to stardom is not a straight line up. But anyway, so in my vast political experience, let's say Nikki Haley and Donald Trump were running, for the electoral votes of Florida. Who's going to represent the state of Florida? So, they run, and they have campaigns and give speeches. And then Trump wins, by a huge amount, it's 80-20. It's a 40-point, and 30, 40-point victories is, he's just like sweeping across the country, in the Tuesday, the political version of March Madness, which they call Super Tuesday, which is, this is Super Thursday. So on March 5th, they had Super Tuesday. This is the 7th of March, by the way, Thursday morning, in case you were just waking up. Anyway, so you have this contest. Trump wins Florida by whatever, by 1%, 2%, 40%. Holy mackerel. 30%. I mean, who ever heard of such a thing? The loser calls the winner and congratulates the winner oh, you did a great job, and we had, we're all on the same team, and congratulations on your victory. That's what happens. The loser calls the winner. Well, all of a sudden, because she's the lady, and Trump is supposed to, kiss, they're saying, oh, he should call her, and bring her. Bupkis. He won. She calls him and congratulates him for the victory. He doesn't call her and congratulates her for the loss. And by the way, I want all your voters. Well, he's not going to get all the voters because according to some analysis from somewhere, I read this somewhere. I think I did. Let me check with Mr. Biden in his vast memory. Anyway, I read it somewhere where in the exit polling, they said, "Oh, did you vote for Nikki Haley?" "Oh yeah, I voted for Nikki Haley." And are you going to vote for her? During the election, on November 5th? "Oh no, I'm voting for Biden. I'm a Democrat. I'm just trying to louse up the Republican." Well, they found out that 48% of the votes that she got, even though she lost by 40%, were Democrats just crossing over, where they have open primaries, just to give Trump a hard time, so that the results would be, closer instead of more skewed. Anyway. So Trump, I think, is trying to be, a calmer, nicer person. And going, full bore after Trump, after Biden. So Trump is all his conversation, Nikki Haley is going to fade into, her private life and catch up and rest, and because, it's got to be terrible because. To run for, to the president of the United States, and to attempt, to beat out Trump, remember The Apprentice? I mean, he's more of a performer than he is a politician, because he was on The Apprentice for 14 years. It was a number one rated show for NBC. They cried bullets when he said, "Hey, I'm dropping out of The Apprentice." Whoever walks away from, a number one broadcast thing, that's gone for 14 years. Oh my God. I think I watched a half of one episode. It was, cutesy, but, I just never, watched the show. I guess I should have. I can go on some program and look them up, look at season 3 or something. Anyway, so Nikki Haley will fade into Never Never Land until July, I guess, is when the Republicans have their convention. And then she'll be back, a week before that, she'll be back in the news to say, "Oh my God, what is she going to have is she going to be given any speech time? And is the time going to be a prime time speech, or is it going to be I guess she should, if she wants to give a speech, she should write the speech and she should submit it to whoever you submit things to, that has something to do with the scheduling of what happens at the Republican convention. I guess the RNC, Republican National Committee chairperson. I think they have someone. I think someone is resigning and someone else is coming in, but I don't know who's who. Anyway, but if she has a nice speech, she'll get a better time. And if she has a little, self-aggrandizement speech, she's going to be, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 3 days before the main event. It's because there is a little politics in who speaks when and who speaks, during the 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock prime time periods when people tune in to such things on either the news or the cable news or whatever. So, anyway, so when I was watching Super Tuesday, I must admit, I tuned in to CNN. Everyone thinks I'm a Fox News person. I am a Fox News person because they are fair and balanced, and they kind of like deliver the news without a lot of bias. Now, if you watch Sean Hannity, I was going to say Shannity, a little alliteration there. Oh boy, my tongue is a little sleepy this morning. Anyway, so if you're a raw politician, Sean Hannity is about as right-wing as someone could stand it, But if you're just into the news, if you listen to the news, it's not a biased channel, except for people like Sean, that they're not news people. They are, they're news performers. They perform the news. They use the news for their spiel, and they talk about it, and they argue about it, and they have a political bias, and it's okay because it's not a news show, And there's several shows in the lineup in the evening are like that, and Sean's certainly one of them. I guess Jesse Waters is a little bit. He leans right, but it's not exactly a right-wing broadcast, that's for sure. But he tends to show off when the Democrats, step in it, if you will. Anyway, so. Okay, forget Provision. MetaQuest is down to a new cheapest ever price. And according to this young lady that has, look at all this. Really? Are you going to, but, I'll tell you what. I have, but I have to admit, a nice little black case here, which I could whip out. We have, so let's, there we go. This is unrehearsed. Let me get out this. I have this in a handy place. Let's see if I can figure out how to open this without smashing. This unbelievable Shure microphone. How's that? That's not bad. So you click like this. Every time I open this thing, I hurt my hands. They got these snaps and crackles and pops. Here we go. There we go. Oh. Now this case is a little tiny case. It's just this big by this big. There. I'll put a sheet of paper on it. You see, it's literally just. I'll put the sheet of paper right in the corner here. So it is about 1.5 inches. Let's say 2 inches. So instead of 8.5 by 11, it's 11 by 14. So it's 11 by 14. Okay, so which is not big, but when you open it up here with this camera, it looks like it's let's do this, and I'll move this around this way. So lift that baby up a little bit. There we go. So remember, this is a sheet of paper. Now on the inside, it's the size of a sheet of paper. Okay. But, you know, they had padding and this and that. I mean, you can throw this thing, I think, off a 7-story building and it would survive. But this is the, you know, the thing that you turn on and you know, it's the controller, and up, right, left, down. Yeah, that's that. Let's turn it on. Oh, I think I need to charge it. It's not going on. Okay. So this is the drone. I mean, look at this thing. Fits in your hand. It weighs, and the reason why it's so tiny and small is because with the battery, I have these marked in some way. That's a 121, whatever that means. Looks like 81. I guess that's grams. So this is a heavy battery. Heavy battery. Heavy battery. Light battery. So with this battery, it weighs 240. There we go. It weighs 249 grams. If it's 250 grams or more, then you're required to have a federal license to fly it. But if it's 249 grams, if you fly it into someone's head, they probably won't get, you know, knocked to the ground. But, you know, it's got this unbelievable. I remember I started this story because I saw that blonde girl with the goggles on. But see, this camera is sitting on, you know, a very sophisticated pivot. So if the drone is doing all this in the wind, the camera stays perfectly fixed. So when they have it in a case, you click that on because that camera is very sensitive. Now that camera shoots high definition video at 60 frames a second. Can you believe that? And the way it expands is you turn out the arms. Is this looking more like a drone now? Instead of a little packet. And then these arms, see if I can do this without breaking off the blades. They give you an extra set of blades for fools like me that will. See, now this arm, instead of going straight out, you flip it this way. So they had a bunch of Chinamen staying up all night figuring, how can we fold this sucker up so that it is so tiny it fits right in this little spot right here. I have some special feet that I haven't figured out how to attach. But there you go. Now that's the drone. And this thing, you know, I can put it on my cocktail table here and fly it right out the sliding glass doors, and that'd be legal. And I'm folding this baby back. I'm doing it rather quickly. It's pretty nice. So these blades, you can flip right over there, so that way they stay inside this. And these blades just go where they go. So it's probably safer to put this down this way because these blades are, it goes in either way. But, and you have little finger holes. This case is cut out exactly for this device. And it's, you know, I got wires in here. I've got this kit fully integrated into my, they give you an extra set of little doodads that fit on here, you know, in case they get lost, which, you know, you don't want to lose them. I think I can just put that right down in there. There you go. This is a little case of filters that fit on the front of the camera. neutral density filters. And the battery is in here, which actually I should take the battery out because that tends to let's see. This got to be, oh, of course, it's hidden behind these arms. Yeah. Whoops. Whoopsie, whoopsie. Yeah. Yeah, we'll put that right out. There we go. Because we don't want to, a little bit of energy ends up going into the drone and tends to discharge the battery. Now, the other nice thing about this little kit, as you see here, you can put all 3 batteries in here and plug in a charger. You see, now this battery, you see, the batteries are about half charged because it's been sitting in a case here for 6 months and I haven't done anything with it. And then you plug that into the charger, and in several hours, all batteries, one after another, get charged in sequence, depending on which battery needs the most charge. That's it. This case is made by Nanook 915, made in Canada, Fabrique au Canada. There it is. That sucker is in like Flynn. Anyway, so that slides right into that. Ouch. Sorry. Oops. There we go. So that's my little show. Anyway, so what brought me to this bringing out that drone is, remember I showed you a picture of that girl that had let's go back to adding this. There we go. Remember that picture? Well, DJI also makes a headset and it syncs into the controller, which then syncs into the drone, would you believe? So now you got high definition imaging coming out of the drone and it goes into these goggles. And you were like, I swear to God, when you fly that drone, it's like you're in the cockpit of this little miniature. And when you fly around, you go, whoa! It is the most compelling thing I've ever felt. I swear to God, I mean, it's like better than any Disney ride you've ever been on. Because now it's like silent movies, so you have to figure out how to put some like headphones on your ears and play, Beethoven or something. So you feel like you're in, 2001 Space Odyssey. But anyway, when you fly the drone, and you have to figure out how to do your thumbs to make it, because it'll turn around this way, it'll go up, it'll look down, it'll go forward, it'll look sideways and go forward. You have the unlimited range of what to do. And if you fly through trees and bushes, it has automatic avoidance, so it'll skate through the branches in case you don't know how to. There's a name for that system, like AccuPilot or some nifty little name, which of course I don't remember, but it is just shocking. So I live here in the middle of downtown, so I can fly this all around through the condominiums. Now I don't mean to I don't talk about peeping in the windows and all that kind of stuff, but then you go over the roads, and you can get right over the top of a car and follow it, or it'll actually go like 10 miles. from your hand. I mean, the frequency, the connectivity, so you can watch this drone. So I can, I'm 1 mile from the beach. I can fly it straight over to the beach, and I can fly up and down the beach. See, how are the waves today this morning? Well, let me take my little doodad and fly it over the beach and see how the waves are, or take it a mile out on the beach and see if you can find any, nice yachts. There was I had a, he passed away, but I had a friend, his name was Hank Newsom, and I said, Hank, when's the next time you're going to take out your yacht? You want a nice picture of your yacht? You're going to take it out on a nice day when the ocean's not so crazy? I can fly my drone right next to your yacht and take some unbelievable pictures of your yacht as if I'm in a motorbike right next to you. That's how I used to have to do it. But with these drones, you can gently fly. I actually flew around. A cruise ship. Got down to Port Everglades, and it went out over the ocean, and then started heading north up the beach. Well, I took my drone, flew all the way. You got up all the way around, and there are people waving at me because some people spotted this little drone. I had a bigger drone at the time. As a matter of fact, I was, and wrote articles about them and published them on my WordPress site. It's really, really quite amazing, the technology. So now you can understand all this stuff that I'm going to adjust this microphone, so I hope I don't knock you out of your seat, because this microphone is so sensitive. It picks up every little piece of sound. I had to readjust it because we were playing with that drone case, and I open up the drone case, it goes boing. Anyway, so with these goggles like this, they look, white like this, and they have two high definition screens right in front of your eyes. It's like looking through, a perfect set of binoculars, so to speak, but in high definition with unbelievable color and sharpness and no latency. So anyway, Apple Vision Pro came out. So now we're, whoops. Nope. There we go. Forget Vision Pro. That's Apple Vision Pro. They just released their goggles, which they've been working on for like 10 years. Well, they finally came out with something that has, there's a website called iFixit. A little iFixit. You can go there. You can Google it. And whenever a new product comes out, iFixit takes it apart, right down to every screw and washer, and all the little circuit boards, and there's the technology where they create this incredibly complicated circuitry, and they shrink it down and burn it into layers of silicone. It's like they have the M3 chip is down to 3 microns of thickness for the transistors. That's 3 millionths of a meter, which is, like shaving 1,000 slices. Literally, it's microscopic. In other words, you need electron microscopy is the word. I was a pre-med student, and I was enamored with electron microscopy. The first thing I had to do was figure out how to pronounce that word. It's one of these words that's about this big. It's like microscope and then scoscopy and all kinds of stuff on the end. Electron microscopy. It got burned into my brain. But, as a medical professional, which I was just that close to go to medical school, and my girlfriend at the time said, Jimmy, if you go into medical school, we're done. I didn't know my father because he was a doctor and he was always doctoring instead of playing with the children and the little lady who was... Anyway, I didn't do it. I forewent my scholarship. Can you imagine? For my affection for Ricky. Her name was Ricky. We'll just say Ricky W. And guess what? I didn't go to medical school, and a year later she dumped me. She went to Case Western Reserve and started fooling around with somebody, a junior or a senior in Case Western Reserve. Heck with Jimmy. This guy's here and he's not. So that was the end of Jimmy. And I didn't do the medical school thing. And I mean, it's a sad story. It's not one of my better decisions as a 21-year-old or 20-year-old. You make the wrong decisions for the wrong reasons, and I obviously needed help. Anyway, I just I did okay. And I'm crowding real close to. I'm not 80 and I'm not 79, but I'm crowding it. It's like I feel the building shaking in my massive studio here, which is 6 feet wide and 24 inches deep. It goes up 8 feet. So how many cubic feet is that? Not much. 6. Now I have a little more. I guess I have 6, 7, 8 feet by 5. 40, let's say 50. I've got 500 cubic feet of studio. 500 cubic feet. I mean, that's probably the smallest studio in recorded history. But I got this thing wired up. I got my Rodecaster Pro Roman numeral 2 sitting over here. And, see, can I show you that? I don't know if that camera's running. Should be. Let's try it. Oops, noise goes there. I don't want that. Nope. Disconnect. I don't want that. Because I could do that one. But let's try. Oh, here, this one. That one's pulsating. That's a good sign. Should be a good sign. Doesn't seem to be wanting to come on. So I have to plug that one. It probably needs a little. The USB-A plugs aren't very good. All right. Anyway, I've got a head. There we go. And this one. Let's do this. There we go. So we have that. We'll add this. There we go. Now we're back to normal. Woo. I'm like I say, I'm the studio, the video guy, the audio guy. I got a couple of video screens going here. Oh my God, I'm doing okay though. What the heck? Okay, getting on to some serious little newsy things. The Gaza Strip is getting, they're just, this Hamas has got to go, and they're down to the last city. They started on the north part of Israel, and they just keep on crushing the population. The population has been warned, better get out of here because we are going with, so the armies, they're rummaging through these tunnels. They're going through these buildings, and if they say that they see Hamas and they didn't getting out of there, the Israelis mark it with a GPS marker and say, you get the commander, Abdul whatever, and bam, they throw a missile in there, and that's what you get. You get a mess. And now, there are not a lot of people in there because they've been warned, get out. So they run like rats. I'm sorry to use the word. Everybody, you'd run. What the heck? Well, they just went right down through the country, and then they got into the Gaza, and about 80% of the population, or 1.9 million people, have been dislodged out of their homes into somewhere else. Egypt, whatever. And about 60% of the buildings in Gaza have been damaged, and 45%, according to this report, is total. I would say that is a destroyed building. Now, because you can't fix that building. You've got to bulldoze it all the way. And this is all cement, and iron. See, here's a guy, there's some 3 people sitting around there on some stone, having a burger. I don't think so. Yep, see, and then there's a couple people down here. It's not a pretty sight. Here's a blue wall between a couple of buildings. You don't see a lot of paint. You see a lot of, destruction. This was some kind of a nice stone parapet all the way around here, this edge right here. Yeah. So, that's what happens. I mean, that was the equivalent of, I think they said, if you compare the population of Israel to the population of the United States, and then you do a little thing, with the 2,000 people that were destroyed by these maniacs, that pillaged, killed, beheaded Hamas, they're animals, and they did things that you haven't seen since the 100 BC. These where they just slash bodies and steal the pretty girls and God knows the unthinkable crimes against humanity. So they said it was like 9/11. Instead of losing 2,700 and whatever, it's like losing 50,000 people. America, how would you like to lose 50,000 people? Now, how would you treat those people if they killed 50,000? They knocked out a major city, everybody in a major city. How would you like that? And you wouldn't like it. And you would pound them to oblivion. Well, that's what we're doing. We're pounding these animals to oblivion, and we're sifting out. We're just, if they don't surrender and get out of Gaza, we are going to destroy it. And they are. I mean, because of the Arab community and because of the politics, which this is when you want to just get sick to your stomach. Because there's a bunch of Arabs that live, which is okay. That's not a racist remark. Have a lot of Arab, Americans that live up, in Minnesota of all places. I guess they're so sick of being in a hot desert, they decided to go to, snow cold. It's like opposites. Anyway, so they migrated there instead of, Miami for some reason. And because of that, and because Biden doesn't want to lose Minnesota, because, you got 200,000 Arabs, I think, Arab nationality, types that are of voting age that live up in Minnesota. And since he doesn't want to, since that's a swing state, he doesn't want to lose Minnesota. So he's trying to appease the Arabs, because you got the Arabs and the Jews. That's what's going on between Israel and all the countries around Israel, because the UN decided we're gonna create Israel. And they carved out this territory and ripped out all the Arabs and said, this is where the Jews are going to live. Well, how would you like to be ripped out of your house and somebody else moves in your house, and now you got to go out in the desert and go find another place to live, and they got your place? And there was no one got reimbursed for that. Those Arabs just lost their homes, and it was handed to the Israelis. Now, that's why that is it's just gone through, since the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2024. I mean, it's, so for 80 years, there's been incredible conflict in that area, all caused by these people that decided how they were going to end World War II and how they're going to carve up, and create boundary lines between countries, and get rid of the Nazis, and push Germany back into what their borders used to be, instead of, Hitler wanted to take over all of Europe. If it wasn't for the USA, they'd be speaking German in France. We say France's butt big time. You never know it, because they don't. You barely get any appreciation out of the French. They got the snooty noses every once in a while. My mother was a French scholar, actually. So I have no disdain for French. Believe me, I've actually never been there. I've been around Europe all over the place, but, taking pictures with the USA soccer teams. He took me on a European tour, and I took pictures of, all these soccer teams that were playing all over, Denmark, Sweden, Austria, the UK, we went London. We went, it was, I think it was 6 or 8 weeks. Traveled around with the team. It was a lot of work, I'll tell you what. And remember 9/11/01? Well, this is 9/11/02. This was 1 year after. It was July 11th of 2002. And I had, these camera cases, and all my lenses looked like bombs. And of course, everybody was worried about bombs because, you had all this bombing going on, flying airplanes into buildings. It's a pretty ingenious way of destroying property and life. And anyway, so I'm traveling from Miami to Heathrow Airport with a stop in, I think it's, they had stopped in like Bangor, Maine or something, or Reykjavik, Iceland. I mean, there was a fueling stop somewhere. It was in Iceland. Come to think of it. The same airport that Reagan flew into when he met with Khrushchev. Amazing. So, I took pictures of all kinds of people. Anyway, I never went to France. That was not too sure why. I don't think there was a why. I think it was just a matter of where the USA soccer people could make the best arrangements for, because there was like, there was 190 athletes, 24 parents that flew along, and 40 parents, sorry, and 24 coaches, and then probably another, 15 people, extra people like me. You got the photographer guy, you got they nicknamed me Kodak. Hey, Kodak, come on over here and that's fine. You can call me whatever you want to call me. So instead of Jimmy or whatever I've been called all my life, forget Mr. or something. You're lucky. Hey, yo. Nope, Kodak. That was my name. Kodak. But Kodak with hair, not Kojak. Kodak, like Kodak cameras. Yep. My camera was a Canon camera, and I believe with Canon imagers. But in the early days of Canon cameras, they had Kodak imagers inside of a Canon sports camera. So they took the film magazine, stuff where you wound film, and they put an imager in there. And I bought that camera. It was a long time ago. It cost me $25,000 for a camera, digital camera, 6 megapixel. It was a full frame, 6 megapixel, industrial camera for, the best photographers that were in the White House had this camera. The model number was a DCS 560. You can look it up. DCS 560. See, Kodak DCS. There it is. Let's see if we can look at it. There it is. Oh my God. Oh my Lord. Let's see. Can you actually buy it somewhere? Let's just go. Digital American Museum. It's a museum piece. Oh God. There it is. Oh God. It launched at the PMA in 1998. November 9/11/02. So it was 4 years after that. It was identical to the Canon EOS D6000, which had a... See, there you go. My memory serves me correct. So I don't have the disease that our president has. See, 6.1 megapixel. I forgot the 0.1. DCS 560, there it is. That's a long time ago. MSRP, I'm sorry, 15,000. How did I get 25,000? See, there it is, 3,000 by 2,000 pixels. You can see right there. 8 thousandths of a second. Had a 2-inch screen on the back of the camera. 169 grams. It's like 2 or 3 pounds, something like that. So that's it. That was the baby that I owned. You buy a couple. The batteries were like $1,700 a piece. So maybe by the time you add in all the stuff. So there. Let's see if we can. There it is. There. Now that's the 520. There's the 560. Come on now. That's a DCS 5. The only difference is fewer pixels. See, Kodak Professional. So it had a Kodak Professional imager back in there, but it was in a Canon EOS 1N, which was the best Canon film camera that all the sports people, if you're in Madison Square Garden, they had this top part here. They all had this EOS 1N. Now you couldn't tell whether there's film going behind there or whatever. The mirror that flips up and then it goes to the imager. But see, with the DCS 560 to support this 6 million pixel imager. And you had this bottom piece. So there was electronics down below the camera. So this, see, you can see the seam right there. Now, the seam went away. I mean, and then it was all integrated. So they used, you know, basically the shell of the EOS-1N, and they this little trap door right here slides open, and that's where the battery slid right in the bottom of that sucker. Yep, the battery filled up this whole bottom piece right where the word Kodak is, and it slid in there. And as I believe, they were like $14.99 a piece, $1,500 for a battery. Well, you had to have 3 batteries. You know, if you're going to be out all day taking pictures of, you know, sporting events, you know, like if you're on the European tour, the soccer, you know, USA soccer thing, had to have 3 or 4 batteries. So you have 1 in the camera, and you got 3 in your, you know, your fanny belt or whatever. I didn't have, you know, a long time ago, they didn't have, backpacks weren't. I would have used a backpack if, you know, if I had thought about it. You know, I had a camera case. So I had a couple of lenses in there. I had a couple of spare batteries. And of course, the data cards, oh my God, they were $500 a piece. And it was like, how many megabytes? Forget gigabytes. I mean, now you got 400 or 500 gigabytes. And then a little tiny chip the size of my pinky nail. Yeah, it was 500 gigabytes. In this little tiny card, and oh, geez, I dropped it. And then you got to look around for it. I mean, it's like this little sliver with contacts on it, and yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable. But you know, the miniaturization. That's what fits in. I should have showed you the data card that goes in that drone. It's one of those little things, and one goes in the drone, and one goes in your remote controller. So it snaps a picture from the drone. It goes right through the airwaves, and you know, with all these pixels, they slip right in there and go on the data card in the remote control thing, and you can see them, you know, on a 4 million pixel display. I mean, the resolution is just, you know, mind-boggling. I'm thankful for my cardiac surgeon that has given me, you know, extra years to enjoy the technology that we've got. That is so underappreciated. Anyway, DCS 560, it's in the camera museum. Oh, look at that. Obvious son of a gun. Yeah. Amazing. Wonder where this side is from. Very cool. How about that for, I mean, isn't that amazing in itself? So I happen to remember the model number of this camera that I had in 2010, 25 years ago. Okay. DCS 560. There it is. And actually in the camera museum, there it is. That's the 560. With, you know, with a cover on the front of it. EOS-1N camera. Let's just save that in my. There you go. Now there it is with the lens or the body. I just press on that, say save photo, and it is forever. There's the side view. This right here, this little plug right here is so you can plug in a remote controller. So if you had the camera on a tripod, you know, you can, I think, focus the camera. I don't think you could change, you know, like the setting, but I think you had a button to set up the sharp focus. This is like a communication port to plug it into a computer. There's the back. I remember that display well. Yeah. let's save that one. Yeah. Very cool. We go into memory lane together. There's the other side. And you see this big sucker right here? You push that in and the battery pops out. This is the end of the battery right there. And of course, you, in case you're morons, they have a little arrow right here, and then it's opposite the other little arrow. And so you don't put the battery in upside down. It won't go in upside down, by the way. It's, you know, the way it's shaped. But it is, you know, I mean, it's, you know, it's like that size. Slides in the camera, and that's, you're just seeing a little end of it. And then you see right here, these two tabs. I don't have an electric pointer. But you see this arrow, you push that button and the card pops out. And it's got two cards. So you're taking pictures or videos, high quality videos. I wouldn't call them, I don't know whether they're high definition in today's terms or not. I'll save this one. This thing flops back to cover, you know, those, yeah, very nice. You got a little, oops, let's go back here. A little smudge mark on that. You think they would have scrubbed that off. This was a picture show here. Anyway, so that's the DCS 560. $15,000 camera. In 1998. Yep. My father died and left us a little money. So I invested $15,000 of it to buy that camera, which that built a whole photographic, you know, kind of a thing for our little, and that is what ended up being, you know, this website, 416 hyphen, you can see it right there, 416 on the very top, 416 hyphen 1100.com. That's one of my favorite polo shots, which you've seen before. And notice all these 14th Annual Congress Day elegance. I don't know if they had I don't know if they've had, you know, the 20th or whatever. This is in the 20, so the 20th or the 21st. I don't think they had it because I never heard anything about the car show. Let's see, there's, I have them categorized as a unique event, which it surely was. Then FAU events. See, now this opens up a whole category of different, see, FAU literacy and education. The College of Education hired me to take pictures of this 1 or 2 day event. The College of Business then hired me to take pictures of this event. This was, you know, kind of like a setup shot there. Grabbed the prettiest girl in the class, which she certainly qualifies as that, and, you know, had a couple of professors, and this is, I think this is Barry Kay right there, big insurance guy. Fell into bad times. There's the National Asian Pacific American Heritage Month at FAU. So that was 2009. Here's a thing at FAU Stadium, a presentation to our famous coach, Howard Schnellenberger. I have taken an unbelievable number of pictures of Howard Schnellenberger. He knew who I was. He mostly saw me with a camera in my face, but I'd say, "Hey, Howard, how are you?" Hispanic Latino Month. Here's Black Heritage Month. There's FAU football's first annual bonfire kickoff. How about that? February 2008. That was out behind somewhere. Florida Atlantic University Athletics second annual Hall of Fame situation. Anyway, so those are all special events that I have taken. So there, thousands of photos there. So now I can go back, hit the back button. So now we're back to this 36, 3 across and I think 12 down. Here's images from the photo class. I taught photography, and the students would bring in photographs and we'd analyze them, fix them up, whatever. Native American Indian events. Look at that beautiful young lady who is now a grown woman with a husband and children. But look at that. She was standing right next to her mother, and she had just, combed her hair and put some feathers on, all real Native Americans, including my lovely wife, who is a Native American Oneida Indian, which is, you're wondering, well, how come I got so much Indian stuff going on? Married 44 years with a Native American, a walking angel. Here I did a stage concert. You know this guy, huh? Everybody knows this guy. Blake Shelton in 2007. I gotta get that logo stuff off that picture. I don't like it. It's low rent. I used to do that so people would copy it. I forget that the hell with it. There he is. Look at this. All Jimmy took all these pictures. Yes, I did. See, I got the lights in the back. It's not easy doing this because this guy's not posing. He's moving around. Yep. He's quite the performer. He was in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The Indian Summer paid him, like $30,000 a long time ago at Indian Summer Festival. There it is. The Blake Shelton Concert, Indian Summer. Let's see, you can see the caption I got there. Where he finished a set, or I don't know what he was doing there, but he has his hand in the air, no guitar in the air. He was, so I turned the color way down. There's just a slight hint of color around his chin. And as you see the microphone, that was a careful lighting situation, which, when I had a 70 to 200 lens, I was, below him because he was on stage and I was off stage shooting up. Now there he was back, so you can't tell I'm really shooting up, shooting over. But I got all kinds of, a shot like this, I sent him the pictures. I said, why don't you put this on a CD-ROM cover? Look at that shot. That is a world-class shot, if I do say so myself. Having captured that, it's, 28, slash E2. Oh, boy. But, you can get that picture, you can, and you can say buy, and you have to buy button. And then over here, what do you want, to download? You want to print? Let's see what a download costs. Personal photo license, $3. You can get the high resolution one. You see, you got 4 megapixel, the original image. And then you can print all the 8x10s you want, or you can actually go back here. This is a very sophisticated site. Print on paper prints. Standard sizes, other sizes. I think this is a square. These are square sizes. So you can print a 30 by 30 square of that one. 30 by 30. That, to fit a big wall. $167. You want a glossy? $184. You want a pearl? This is the nation's best printing factories. Because I'm a member all these pictures are stored. See if we can get to the bottom. You see right here? Smug Mug ink. You see on the very lower right-hand side of this thing. Smug Mug. Smug. S-M-U-G-M-U-G. I didn't make the name up. I have 400,000 pictures on Smug Mug. And they have it in a main place somewhere. All these images are housed. And then, in a server situation. So, and when I get down to the bottom of this, see, here's travel photography. I took that picture of the cruise ship looking right, RCL, Royal Caribbean Line. See, there's EOS 1DS Mark III. Well, now I have an EOS R5 for mirrorless. So here's a book I was almost going to write. Never got around to it. It was a deal. You can see forensic digital imaging. Here's the photo. I designed the cover of the book. You always do that first. I don't know if that's the way you're supposed to do it, but that's the way I did it. There's the cover, right there. Principles of Forensic Digital Photography. See, I wrote a book right here. I must say, I'm going to get out of this in a minute. Principles of Digital Photography and post-image processing. See, this is Principles of Forensic Digital Photography. And then here you can see Forensic Digital Image Development, Post-Image Processing, Digital Security and Authentication. This handbook is essential for police officers, crime scene technicians, forensic scientists, investigators, attorneys, students who use digital evidence collection tools. Co-authored by James L. Wilson and Henry C. Lee. I made an 8x10 glossy of that cover. And here's the back. I did the back of the book. I laid my keys down on it. Really, and I found this little police thing off of one of my kids' police toys. And it was like a police thing, that silver, you can see it right down there. And I laid a bullet down there. An ACP-45. And this was the key to my mailbox. Key number 6A558837. You think the post office has made a lot of keys? Well, that was box 520. Anyway, here's my letter from Florida Atlantic University in October of 2003 from Dr. Harlan. Your request for adjunct faculty status with the Department of Geography and Geology at the Charles E. Schmidt College of Science at Florida Atlantic University came to vote during the department's September meeting. I am pleased to inform you that the department voted unanimously to instate you as adjunct faculty. And would you know, to this day, I am adjunct faculty at the Charles E. Schmidt College of Science. I taught digital photography there. I'd do it tomorrow if I could fill the class. Anyway, see, it says Mr. Wilson is collaborating with Henry C. Lee, Dr. Henry C. Lee, director of the State of Connecticut Forensic Laboratory. I met with him in Phoenix, Arizona, in a private meeting in his hotel suite, because he was there as a invited guest to an important forensic conference that the government had. My daughter worked for the Department of Justice. Uh, and anyway, so that's my little walk down memory lane with the. Anyway, I didn't write the book, but Dr. Lee's always. I saw him, like 6 or 8 months ago, and he said, "Jimmy, anytime you want to write that book, we'll co-author it just like we agreed 20 years ago or 15, whatever that was." And I could probably tell. Let's see if there's any kind of a date associated with this particular. Let's see if I click on this image. There's probably XF data in the image. It's probably around this. Yep, see there? Look at that. That's Dr. Henry Lee, my daughter, and Jimmy. A young Jimmy. And, yep. That's it. I created all this graphics, so if a digital image had been tampered with, this emblem would come up somehow, either, in a grayscale. Authentication certified positive. It's green. Green means good. That means no. You got a line through it. How about those graphics? Digital authentication, uniform secure access. That's the screen, when you have a computer screen, it opens. So, you gotta do all this stuff. This is a letter that Dr. Hohen wrote to Mike Sewell, who is the legislative director for the Honorable E. Clay Shaw Congressman. He wrote a letter to my congressman telling all about Jimmy and what he's doing at FAU. And Scott Ellington, the director of the Research Center. There we go. Here's my forensic and my digital imaging resume, which is written in 2000. I think that's the 13. Yep. That's it. So I did a resume with this graphics on there showing the cover of that book. And then I did another resume with the cover of my actual book, which I just showed you down there. And my broker license, which I just renewed, by the way. So anyway, that's the world of. So what I wanted to show you is we go back to So you get all these different. Whoop! I got to go back another one. There we go. So these are the different directories that I have, a bunch of other galleries underneath that, albums, whatever. I used to write write-ups on different camera equipment. So there's a lens over there, there's a camera there, miles of Q&A. Here's Jimmy as a young man at West Point. Lead pictures, he wanted those log. Back, there we go. It's a pretty quick response time. There we go. Technology, publishers collected selection. Here, look, I had a military person that sent me actual Afghan photography. Look at that. There's only one album. And you can go right, look at this, a family living in a tractor, for God's sakes. Look at all these little girls and one boy. Look at that guy. He's got one up there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sisters, one boy, and here's Mama, I guess. There's the little kid with a toy. That's that little girl in the purple. There, whoop. This little girl sitting on the sand, no shoes, of course. Terrible. I don't know why some of these pictures aren't showing. Let's go back. Go back. I'm getting to where I'm supposed to be. There's a mosquito. I was in the mosquito business, or the anti-mosquito business. That didn't work out the way we hoped. Here's some political events right here. Look at this. Not much of that, but I'll show you anyway. This is November 2000. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's not coming. I don't know. Let's do a try the re thing. I don't know. Oh. It's I don't know if I have a connection problem. I'm trying to get to the bottom of this. But you see, there's lots of galleries. And there's some recent photos. And we're getting down to my page counter. Look at that. 26. Oh, God. 26,417,086. And if you think that's not counting, I'll recycle this page, and that's going to say 087. It should. We get down to the bottom of this. There it is. See, 087. It counts every time someone shows up. It's a lot of people. You know, can you imagine? Not advertised, word of mouth. I mean, maybe it's mentioned. You know, it's mentioned on this show. You know, which 3 people are listening. Whatever. I have about 1,000 friends. This is a Simulcast. Matter of fact, I have to get out of here. I've been on here an hour and 17 minutes. But it's interesting. It's like having you have a cup of coffee. I happen to have a little warm tea. It's in a thermos, so it does stay warm, although it's, it's not room temperature. It's probably 98.6. It's like having coffee with Jimmy, and God knows what we'll talk about. So I took you through my website, 416-1100.com. Yep, there it is. It's right on my front page there. And by some means, I have you see this little logo right here? Well, it's the same logo that's on that, which you can see right in the middle of. I can swap that. Look at this. This guy is learning how to do it. There you go. You see? I can shake it. You see you go down right there, and that thing that looks like this picture right here. That's the logo I have on my icon on my iPad. And I just got notified that an order just showed up. Arriving today. I want this. I want this. It was supposed to be yesterday, but it shows up today. Track the package. This is Maryland wanted a green, out for delivery. It has not been delivered yet. CO updates. Package out for delivery from Pompano Beach reporting at 10:16 a.m., which is 4 minutes ago. How about that for, up to speed on what's going on in Jimmy's life. Amazon.com. Amazon is absolutely amazing. I remember back a few years ago, 2010 maybe, you could buy Amazon stock. 2010 was not a good year. It was, a recession, interest rates, and oh my God. I was working, I've been in a banking, and there was a lot of loans that were going upside down, and it was not a pretty sight. But you could buy, there was a time where you could buy Amazon stock for $4 a share. Today, that'd be worth $4 million. I swear to God. You could buy 1,000. I was going to buy 1,000 shares of Amazon for $4 a share. That would have been a $4,000 investment. Today it'd be worth like $10 million something. Silly boy, why didn't you do that? And Apple was like like $20 a share or something, crazy number. And of course, all these stocks have split, 50 to 1, 10 to 1, 7 to 1, 3 to 1. Well, you do all the ones, and you multiply it by the number of resultant shares by the bigger number you have today. Apple trading at like $175, $180 a share. But it's split 50. Over that 15-year period of time, probably is split 20 times, Anyway, what they say, hindsight is always 20/20. Yeah, you can always look back. Should have passed left, as all the football people say on Monday morning after all the Sunday, what do you call them? Well, we're sports-wise, we're hoping. We're pretty sure that FAU will be in March Madness. I think they pick, they put all the real, everyone's doing the brackets, guessing what the brackets will be. And it's 1,000,000 to 1 shot on whether you can actually guess the brackets. But the brackets will actually be filled by, the top 64 teams in the country. I think March 11th or 13th. I think March 13th. I'm not a real big sports guy, so I don't kind of remember those dates that much because, I don't do sports. Let's see how my Tesla's doing. I'll just zero in on that. I'm going to... There's the car. Let's get rid of that shift. So the car, it doesn't have this that graphic on there. I just put that on there for funsies because you can put it on there. And I can change it to normal. Let's do that. There we go. Now we're back to normal. So I've got the estimated range and the rated range is coming, as this battery matures over the last couple of years. These numbers are getting closer and closer to the same. But look at this. The miles per gallon is the equivalent of 127 miles to the gallon. Now, that's not, of course, it doesn't have gallons. It has electricity. The driving efficiency is 94%, which is, okay. Good. It's good. You got these different graphics to show how we're doing. 34% of our charging is done in Tesla chargers, and 66% is done in the home. We plug it in at home. And here you can see this complicated graphic. And this is the important one right here. You see, when I got the car, the battery had a 330 mile range in the battery. Well, there's only one dit there. And it immediately started going bip, 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 down towards 320. Then it went up a little bit. And then by mile 4,000, it was at 310. And then, I don't know why it's blank in here. For some reason, it stopped reporting. When you get to mile 8,000, this is an odometer reading, it's at 300. So I went from 330 to 300. I lost 10% of my range in the first 8,000 miles of driving the car. Then we get to 12,000 miles. We drive about 6,000 miles a year. So 12,000 miles is about 2 years. And it's down to 290. And see, now it's leveled off and it's actually climbed up just a little tiny bit. Whoops. So I can expand this. That's all I can do is I can expand it. I can't slide it over. Oh yeah, I guess you can slide it over. I'm at the end of the graph. See, now I've actually had some ticks there at 294. So it's a recently I've started charging it up to like 95, 97% instead of this 80% always. And since I started doing that, look at that. The battery has, it's a very complicated algorithms they have, in the battery management. So since I've started changing the charging fullness, it seems like it actually pays off to charge it up every once in a while all the way, or not, like to 98%. It says you're allowed to, they say for everyday use, don't charge it past 80, and don't let it get below 10. Well, let's say 85 and 10. So that's 25% of your battery you're really not supposed to use on an everyday basis. Well, you drive the car on an everyday basis. Yeah, what the hell? So they give you a 330-mile battery, but after several years of use, it's down to 300 or 290. So I'm at 290. So I've lost 40 miles of range just because the battery's old. It's 2 years old. That's why you don't want to buy these things. You want to lease them. So you give that sucker back and you get another one, which is what we're about ready to do. Tesla's offering us early turn-in, so we're 3 years, June 11th. So I have to make my March 11th payment, which of course we'll do. We'll pay it on like the 14th. So that puts us into the last 2 lease payments. And Tesla is telling me directly from Tesla, says, we'll take your car in, we'll eat the 2 months, we'll give you $500 worth of, excess wear, coverage. I said the car is immaculate except there's a dent in the driver's side door. Someone ran into the side of my car. I said everything's fine. The wheel alignment is perfect. Everything is fine. The car didn't get bent. It just is a dent. And it's a depression of about an inch and a half. So it's a good sized depression. The size of a softball, let's say. He says no problem. That'll be covered under the $500. What do you call it? It sounds like a slippery car guy to me, but he says, no problem. I said, well, I want that in writing because I don't want to get a $1,000 bill after this deal closes. He says, no, it's not a problem. They'll inspect the car, So I'll turn it in. We swap key cards and whatever, and, you got $2,000 worth of, transportation fee. You got this fee stuff. So it adds up to about $2,000, the way I understand it. I was trying to get that all in the lease, but I don't think they'll do that. I'm going to give one more whack at that. I'm not giving up on that, but I told Marilyn, I said, get ready. We're going to need $2,000 to swap the cars. That includes the dented door, so that's a plus. And you get a brand new car, you get a brand new battery with brand new battery technology, and you got better cameras all the way around. Everything, they've had 3 years to figure out how to make this car better. And the computer is like super computer. They've had 2 computer upgrades since I bought the car. Or driving. Who cares who's on the title, on who owns the car? The point is, how much does it cost you a month to drive? And a lease is the most efficient way to drive a car. We've been leasing cars for a very long time. Now, with this technology car stuff, are you kidding me? You want to lease technology cars. Please do not buy technology cars. Because, in 3 years, the technology is like light years ahead of 3 years ago. Anyway, so here I am. My phantom drain. I'm draining at 1%. We're like, I have Marilyn's car set to not get above 85 degrees. If the interior of the car, of course we're in Florida, so the car is always hotter than 35 degrees. So 85 degrees, sorry. So the air conditioner, remember it's an electric car. So the air conditioner has, electric, motor that runs the compressor to deal with the heat exchangers to get and you got fans and stuff. So it keeps the interior temperature of the car somewhere between 85 and 90 instead of it getting to 130. When you open the door and whoosh, you got this heat storm that hits your face. And, you get in there and your pants stick to the seat, or your dress or whatever. So I have it. So that's part of the phantom drain, because in the afternoons, that system works. And when the battery gets down to like 15%, that system is disabled because we don't want to run the battery out with that feature. So if your battery is low, your car is going to get hot inside if you're in South Florida. Driving efficiency is always like about 98%. Now we're at 93%. I'm not too sure what are all the matrices that go into driving efficiency, but we're 61% better than everybody else driving Teslas. So we're not at 100%. We were like 99. I don't know if I ever got to 100. We were like 99 like a couple of weeks ago. Now we've slipped back to 93. 93% efficiency. So we got 93% on our midterm exam driving the Tesla. You can see the purple here. That is the software version that we're running. So we're right at the, left is the latest software. Year 24. The second week, I know what the nomenclature is here for the number, and then it's the seventh iteration of the software that was happening in the second week of. So in theory, the dot, 2024 dot, that could go to 52. You can see up here it goes to 30, and then 44, and it went from 44 immediately into 2004. So I got to week 44, and then whenever this release came out in the sometime after the second week of, but those are weeks. And then the next dot is the version of the software that occurred during the second week of them, messing around with the firmware. If you have full self-driving, that's where most people are on the 44th week of 2003. That's where most people are. This is like the percent of people. We go back to firmware. There we go. And we can hit this button right here, and it tells you people are switching out. You see the minus sign. So all these people, 1% and 3%, they're all migrating over to get into this encouraged. They're being encouraged. They get messages on their screen to get the 2024 second week version. So they've just about got everyone cleaned up into this bucket. And we undo that. I'm in this bucket because the purple means that's where we are with our car. And with Model Y cars, I'm showing you all the graphics on this thing. This all comes out of the car. All this stuff is built into the computer in the car. So we're just drawing this information out of the car. So of people that have this car, 26% of them have full self-driving, which doesn't work. It's still in beta. I mean, this guy, Elon's been promising this has been, going to be available when I got the car 3 years ago. Well, guess what? It's still in beta. And I've tried it. You can pay $200 a month and you can try it out. So I did that for 2 months. I tried it out, donated $400 to the cause. And it's too, forget it. I'd be a nervous wreck riding around with that. I mean, it says, keep your hand on it. Well, you better, because if you don't keep your hand on the steering wheel, you're going to be wrapped around something. It's too hot. They need to have a button that says chill. I actually have all my settings on the Tesla to set to chill, because the car is so hot. I mean, when you put your foot down on the accelerator, like you used to in a gasoline car, and eventually the engine, well, not so with this is like those little Tarka toys. You put your foot down on the accelerator pedal and you are, 0-60, you feel like you're in a spaceship. I swear to God. It is lightning fast. But, I don't drive lightning fast. And, every once in a while you want a fast car so you can get out of avoid danger, that's a good thing. But, you need to set those controls to chill for the first month of driving that car, because it is a really, really fast automobile if you want it to go really, really fast. You don't have to go really, really fast. They want the tire pressure, by the way, at 42 pounds. I'm at 35. So I have a nice little pump here from DeWalt. And it is very good. I just pumped up my bike tires, and it takes about 15 minutes to go all the way around all the tires and pump them up to 42. 3-bar. BAR is a European standard for pressure, and 1 bar is 14.7 pounds per square inch, 1 atmosphere. 2 bars, 2 atmospheres of pressure. 3 bars, 3 atmospheres of pressure. That's the system that they use in Europe. Here we use PSI, pounds per square inch. So 3 bars, 42 PSI. That's 1 bar is 14.8. You don't want to have your tires at 14.8. You want them at, so I'm at 28. So I'm at like 2.5 bar. We need to be a 3 bar, 42 PSI. Before I turn the car in, I'll get that sucker up to 42. You know what? You want to turn it in with the tires right. The tires like brand new tires. I've only got 17,000 miles on the car, so these tires look like they're, do we see that somewhere? How much miles I got? Oh, I know I see that. Yep. We go all the way down the bottom here. 17,818. That's the odometer reading for this VIN number. And I'm on version 11.1. That's, the 11. You're supposed to get in the 11s. The software is supposed to be really super good. So it drives just marvelously. I don't have any complaints about the car. Full self-driving? No. People that are paying $12,000 or $15,000 for that, they got ripped off. No. Elon Musk says those people that have a car they're turning in this quarter, we will give you the credit for your full self-driving into the new car. Oh, well, that's big of you. Since, I have a friend of mine, he's paid $8,000 for full self-driving, 6 years ago. Well, he wants to get another one. Well, that's 16, that $8,000 should go in, that software package should be turned on his new car, because the full self-driving has never, it was a false promise. If he doesn't do that, he's going to have a big class action suit. So he's not doing it out of the goodness of his heart. He knows he's going to get prosecuted up the gazoo if he doesn't give these people, what is fair to get. Anyway, that's what I think. And that's what he's going to do. He's being advised by his attorneys to do it. All right. Well, let's get this is a world record Because I've been talking here. I feel like I'm becoming Rush Limbaugh, except not quite so political. Because I've been chatting here for 1 hour and 40 minutes. Can you believe it? Since 9 o'clock. I got on this thing 9 o'clock. Marilyn said, you have to have a fixed time so your viewership, your listeners can tune into you. All right. Well, so as a reminder, I'm going to be, some way I'm going to be on this thing at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, Friday morning, right? Yeah. So I hope you've enjoyed your coffee with Jimmy. And I'm going to get off here because it's going to be 1 hour and 41 minutes. All my networks. This is a Simulcast of 3 social networks. Facebook Live, you can see the stream up on the top. Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Twitter Live. All 3 of these networks. And if I had my choice, the best rendition of this with the quality and all that stuff, without fading in and out, is YouTube Live. Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Twitter. All 3 of those networks have this broadcast every day. Now, every day, 9 o'clock in the morning. Now, in previous days, it could be at 11, it could be at 1, it could be at 2, it could be, I don't think it's been earlier than 9. So 9 will be the new time. So I'm going to give you about 30 seconds of Epidemic in full sound, and then I'll see you tomorrow morning. I promise. Bye-bye.